Man, what a season for the Chicago Bears. It was absolutely remarkable. There's a reason we call them the cardiac Bears, and that is because one moment they had you flatlining, the next moment they had your blood pumping, the energy was flowing through your body. Everybody was in flow state watching these games, and it was just something to behold. But all things must come to an end, and unfortunately for the Chicago Bears, it would end on an interception, and not in their favor, believe it or not. So we're going to talk about the Chicago Bears in this episode. But first, thank you so much for all your love and support on this channel. I really appreciate all the likes, comments, all of that. So keep that up in this video as well. Let me know your thoughts about this video and other content you might want to see from me in the comments below. And let's go ahead and dive into the Chicago Bears 2025 season recap. Now, this season would not start off on a high note. You'd think with Ben Johnson coming in, there's a lot of hype around this team. Chicago Bears fans, again, believing we have won the offseason. And unfortunately, the Chicago Bears would put up two lame ducks to start the season. Now, the opening drive of the season, you had some momentum behind you. You had some faith. The first quarter looks really good. And then all of a sudden, you get to the end of the game against the Minnesota Vikings. And all of a sudden, you're worried that it's the same old Chicago Bears rearing their ugly head. Ben Johnson is not our savior. What can we do to fix this issue? And then in week 2, going up against the Detroit Lions, the Chicago Bears got absolutely bodied, belt to butt, by the Detroit Lions against the Chicago Bears, 52-21. And you're really starting to question the direction of this team. However, the Chicago Bears would have a 4-game win streak starting off with the Dallas Cowboys. They would win 31-14 in that one, win their next 2 games against the Raiders and the Commanders, 25-24, the final in that one. And that would kind of really start to be the change for the Chicago Bears. Yes, Caleb Williams kind of breaks out against the Dallas Cowboys. The offense starts to come alive, or the defense rather starts to come alive as well, and things are starting to change. And they slowly start changing over these next few games, scraping by against the Raiders, scraping by against a Jaden Daniel-less Commanders team, and then all of a sudden you go up against the Saints, who are not that great, mind you, and you come away with the win, and all of a sudden, with Monangai's breakout, this team looks like it might turn the corner. And I don't mean breakout as in it's his rookie moment. I don't mean breakout as in this is where he established himself as a cornerstone of the offense. But what he did do was prove that this offense does not have to rely on DeAndre Swift's swiftiness alone. You could rely on Kyle Monangai's ability to run north and south, pound the rock, and to go back to what the Chicago Bears are really more known for, and what Ben Johnson and his Sonic and Knuckles running backs in Detroit were also known for. And that's having one guy be able to be the swiftiness with Jahmyr Gibbs, and then the other guy, David Montgomery, formerly of the Chicago Bears, obviously, being more of that north-south runner to kind of punish defenses. And that's what these two would end up being in this season. But they would go up against the Ravens without Lamar Jackson, and they would fall 16-30 in that contest. And that was one of those moments where you look at that game, you look at the Vikings game, and those are two big games at the end of the day, because the losses in those games really kept them from being in a position to win the first seed in the NFC this year, amongst other games. But you look at the schedule and you look at the other teams they lost to, the 49ers, the Lions 2 other times, the Packers once, and you really question where is that other win coming from in this season. And honestly, it's probably not coming against those teams. They had a chance against the Packers. They had a chance against the 49ers as well. But those two teams were teams they could have beat. They should have beat. But the defense, they struggled with the mobile quarterback with Tyler Huntley. And it really came back to bite them at the end of the day. But that's not the big moment. The big moment is with the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, we saw 2 things happen in this game. One, Kyle Monangai had his moment. This was his rookie moment. This was when he became sensational. DeAndre Swift out with injury. You're really questioning, what is this young rookie going to bring to this team? Is he going to fold under the pressure, or is he going to become a diamond in the rough and shine like a diamond? He did. Shout out to my girl, Rihanna, because, oh my God, we saw him shining bright like diamonds in the sky, because, oh my God, he would go off for over 170 yards on the ground, tear up that Bengals defense, and cement himself as a cornerstone of the Chicago Bears offense. And it really did shake up the dynamic of this team. Caleb Williams having a vintage breakout moment in this game as well. Again, coming through in the clutch with a late fourth quarter comeback. Colston Loveland coming through in the clutch, proving himself. I really do think this was probably his rookie breakout moment, because not only was he able to accomplish something important, not only was he able to score a touchdown and do it in a crucial moment, but he was also the guy that the team relied on to get the job done, and he was able to get the job done in this game against the Bengals. So I thought that was a big thing for this team. And then from the Bengals game, they would go on a 5-game win streak, capped off with beating the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. And this is when the team would really start to turn things around. They would have a bunch of fourth quarter comebacks along the way. And then on top of that, they put the NFL on notice when they beat the Philadelphia Eagles, not at Soldier Field, but on the road in Philadelphia. And the Chicago Bears would end up putting this game away in the final few minutes in the fourth quarter, despite a comeback attempt by the Philadelphia Eagles that really didn't amount to anything. Another thing that happened along this path is the Chicago Bears really started to have that identity of being a defense that gives up a lot of yards, that gives up a lot of points, but is able to escape due to the turnovers that they're able to generate in these games. And it comes through in the clutch for Chicago multiple times over the span of games. But that would change eventually in the later half of the season. We'll get to that in just a second. But they would go up against the Packers, and you're really hoping for this game, this is going to continue the winning. This is going to redefine the franchise on a whole nother level, because I do think that there is a culture change. There's a view of the Chicago Bears that's changed by beating the Philadelphia Eagles. But the Philadelphia Eagles, they had a moment like this just a few years ago where they'd miss out on the playoffs entirely because they would choke in the back half of the season after a hot start. That wouldn't be the case for the Eagles. Not necessarily. They would make the playoffs this year, but that's besides the point. They would go up against the Packers, and a win here against the Packers on the road at Lambeau for Caleb Williams to pick up his second win against the Packers in Lambeau would be huge. And unfortunately, the Chicago Bears, they play a great game with a healthy Micah Parsons on the Packers, with a healthy Jordan Love on the Packers, and they would come up just short in this contest on a last-second interception by Caleb Williams, trying to recreate some magic that happened against the Philadelphia Eagles. But over and above all, this team, they truly proved in this game and the games to come that they were not fraudsters. They were here to be. They could go up with anybody, and they proved that against the Green Bay Packers. They would follow that performance up by taking on the Browns, and they would decimate the Browns 31-3. We saw Caleb Williams again have a vintage moment when he's scrambling out to his right, able to plant his back foot and find somebody, I forget who it was, for a touchdown in the back of the end zone. And an ill-advised throw 9 out of 10 times, but Caleb Williams has the confidence in himself to get ball wherever it needs to go, and he was able to do so, and that came away big in that game. Then they would take on the Packers in a rematch yet again, and the Bears, they would knock Jordan Love out early in this game. Unfortunately, he suffered a concussion. Micah Parsons was missing it already due to his own injury, season-ending injury, and the Bears, they were able to scrape by with yet again another late-game win in this contest. They were able to recover an onside kick, extend the game into overtime, and win in overtime, and that's just the things that dreams are made of for the Chicago Bears and this fan base. You want to be able to beat the Packers, and that means beating them in any way possible. So you don't mind that it was against the backup. You don't mind that it took overtime. You don't mind that it was a little bit concerning in terms of your cardiac health, but Bears able to get it done. Then they move on to the 49ers, and while they don't win this game either, they do prove that they could go up against any team that's able to score points. The defense looks absolutely terrible, giving up 42 points, but the offense is right there with the 49ers, one of the top offenses in the NFL, and they keep pace with them for the whole game. It's a complete shootout, tit for tat the whole way until the very end when the Bears have to settle for 3, and Brock Purdy and the 49ers are able to go ahead and get their final touchdown to put themselves over the Bears 42-38 in that contest. And then to end the season, yes, another loss, back-to-back losses to end the season does not look great, but the Chicago Bears, they went out there in this game and they were able to create some magic against the Detroit Lions. One of the biggest things is they did not give up 52 points on defense in this game. They only gave up 19. The defense put the Chicago Bears in a position where they could win this game, and unfortunately they came up just a little short, but over and above all, this team, the improvement from week 2 to week 18, absolutely phenomenal, and you love to see that for the Chicago Bears. In the wild card round against the Green Bay Packers, yes, a terrible first half, but again, it shows the resilience of this team, the backbone that Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson have, the belief in themselves, and that's the biggest thing to take away from this season is Caleb believes in himself, Ben Johnson believes in Caleb Williams and his team, and the team believes in those two, and they're able to get the job done. They're able to come roaring back in the second half, chipping away with some Cairo Santos field goals until Caleb Williams and his offense really start humming and defeat the Green Bay Packers at home to secure their first win in the playoffs in 15 years. Then, in the divisional round against the Rams, it's not like this was a bad game. The Chicago Bears kept it tight the whole way through, able to extend the game into overtime on a tremendous throw from Caleb Williams. We all know, scrambling back 20 yards, throwing off the back foot, finding Cole Kmet for the touchdown to extend the game. And these are the types of things that, yes, the Chicago Bears come up just short in this contest, hanging around with the LA Rams, keeping Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, the run game overall with the Rams in check. You look at that and you're able to say, Yes, it's a loss, but only 20 points given up to the Rams on a day where the defense did not get a single takeaway. That's pretty impressive over and above all, because it proves this Bears defense and Dennis Allen were able to step up over the back half of this season and able to find some sort of identity away from just being able to generate turnovers. So if that's able to keep up for the Chicago Bears and they're able to keep good offenses like the Rams, like the Green Bay Packers in check going forward next year, well, that's a lot to look forward to for this team, because Caleb Williams, he's shown he's got ice in his vein. The Iceman can come alive at any point, and you have a shot if you have a defense that's able to keep you in games, and you have a quarterback that's known to be able to make last-second comebacks. So that all ties together good for Chicago, and that's the biggest thing to have faith in going into next season. Now, Ben Johnson doesn't want to say build off of, because it's a whole new year, it's a whole new identity, it's a whole new energy, and I agree with that. But taking what happened in this year, maybe not necessarily building off it, but being inspired by it, by having some confidence, by having some weight lifted off your shoulders because of the success that the Chicago Bears had this season, I think that all goes towards the Chicago Bears building something better next year. Maybe not as exciting, maybe not as heart palpitating, but the Chicago Bears, I think they're a team that's here to stay. Like I said, Caleb Williams coming up just short in terms of being a 4,000-yard passer this season. I think he had 3,900 and some odd yards this season. DeAndre Swift looked good. Kyle Monangai established himself as a legitimate threat. Luther Burden, a legitimate threat, except for when he's dropping passing. Colston Loveland, the same thing. Rome Odunze, the same thing. And even DJ Moore in the back half of this season looked really good. And when he actually tries, he's one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. It's just that you need him to try just a little bit more. And then defensively, we talked about Dennis Allen and this team's ability to grow, not just from the interceptions, but also having some sort of clamps on these wide receivers, on these running backs, and that's something to look forward to going into the season as well. And if these Bears are able to just shore up that defensive line, I think that's going to go a long way for this young defensive back core, that young secondary that the Chicago Bears have. I think that's going to go a long way. Sewell and Edwards and Edmonds, I think they're all going to hold down that middle part of the defense. Those linebackers are ridiculous. So we'll see what they're able to do going forward in this upcoming season. I know they said they wanted to bring Sewell back. I have not heard anything necessarily about Kevin Byard. They said they wanted to bring him back. They have not given him a futures contract yet. To my knowledge, I might have missed it, but I did see some other names on there as well. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes back, who gets waived, or who gets traded, whatever. But the Chicago Bears, they are poised to have a good run in the league over these next few years. And hopefully Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson are able to create some more magic like they did in this season. But let me know what you guys think about the Chicago Bears. First in the NFC North, second in the NFC. First playoff win in 15 years. Caleb Williams just short of being the Chicago Bears' first 4,000-yard passer. 30 touchdowns on the year as well. Let me know what you guys think about the Chicago Bears team. What did I get right? What did I get wrong in my analysis? Do you think the Bears kind of got lucky this year, or do you think this is just the start of something new in Chicago? Not to quote High School Musical. But I'll leave it to you guys, and until next time, see ya.